Should you start using CDK? That's what this video is all about. I'm sure many of you have heard about CDK or Cloud Development Kit, and maybe you're curious about it. Maybe you're using a different infrastructure as code option like CloudFormation, Pulumi, or Terraform, and want to know, why is everyone talking about this CDK thing, and should I start using it? So in this video, I want to talk about the pros and cons about using CDK. I'm also going to explain to you a little bit about how it works behind the scenes, and then I'm going to give you some helpful resources that you can use to get started with learning CDK if you so desire. So let's just get right into it, and the first thing I want to talk about are the pros of using CDK and just a little bit about how it works. So the main idea with CDK is that it allows you to create your infrastructure using code. So it supports many different programming languages from Python to TypeScript and JavaScript. There's also Ruby support, C#, Golang, and Java. And because you create your infrastructure using code, it also means that you have access to all of the benefits that code gives you. Things like variables, conditionals, loops, and autocomplete in your IDE. With variables, you can define string constants or number constants or things that you're going to be using throughout your application and want to refer to regularly. No more magic numbers that are embedded into your CloudFormation files. You can define these things straight up and then refer to them later in your code constantly. And then with conditionals allow you to say, if some certain condition is true, then do this particular thing. And if it's not true, then do this other thing. Where I've seen this particularly useful is if you have different environments. So say you have a test environment and you have a production environment. In a test environment, it's pretty common that say you have a database and you don't want to provision this database with, massive resources. You want it to be fairly lightweight so that you're not costing your company or yourself a whole lot of money. Versus if you have a production environment, maybe you want to configure it with the full amount of resources that it's going to need to serve your customers. So with a simple conditional, you can say, if we're in this test environment, set the attributes to this. If we're in production, set the attributes to that. With loops, you're able to iterate very, very quickly and create multiple instances of things. This could be like multiple different S3 buckets that you need. You can store all the names of them in an array list, for example, then iterate over them one by one and write a single piece of code that creates these different S3 buckets for you, as opposed to writing like a whole block of code for each independent one. And then finally, there's autocomplete as well. So this is a huge benefit about using CDK. No more fumbling around in documentation, trying to figure out what the right inputs are, what the names are, the fields or the configurations are that you need to set in order to get what you want. With autocomplete, either you get it as you're typing, or you can very quickly jump to the source code itself for the CDK construct library so you can see exactly what's available as an option on the resource that you're creating. Now, another thing that I really like about CDK that isn't listed here, but I figure it's worth talking about, is because you're using code, AI tools are very, very helpful for getting started quickly with your project. So you can tell ChatGPT, for example, create me a RDS database in CDK using JavaScript. And the results that I've gotten, that I've tried out personally, have been really, really good. You have to be careful though with things like hallucinations. Sometimes it thinks fields are there or options are there that aren't, but usually it gives you a really good starting point that you could build off of instead of having to figure out, how does this thing work from scratch? So that's one of the benefits. Let's talk about another one. Another one is in terms of code reuse, either through using programming language primitives like functions. With functions, you can write like one piece of code that takes a variety of inputs that allow you to define a piece of infrastructure over and over again using these different inputs. So that's a main benefit. Now, another way that reuse is important is in terms of sharing your creations with other teams. So I actually have a great example for this. So I work at Amazon and there's multiple different teams that are in my org. And we all kind of use similar patterns, right? We have a lot of API gateway with Lambda functions or API gateway with an ECS cluster or a SQS queue with a Lambda function. And so what happened previously was that everyone was kind of using CDK, but they were implementing their own Lambda plus SQS queue or Lambda plus API gateway, and it was just very, very redundant and a lot of duplicated work. So eventually what we decided to do was just create this common Git repository that held some constructs that we defined and agreed upon the standards for as a group. And then once that was defined, we just spread that out to each of the teams, and they were able to set up these pieces of infrastructure that had these common patterns that we all agreed on very, very quickly. And so reuse is one of the main benefits of using CDK either within your own project or across a variety of teams within an organization. Now, the next thing to know about in terms of the pros is the testability of CDK with unit tests. And so a little bit about how this works before we get into it. And so what CDK does is that, you write your code that defines all the different pieces of infrastructure that you want to create, sure. But what it does behind the scenes is that it doesn't actually send that code up into AWS. What it does is that it generates CloudFormation out of your code locally on your machine. And then it deploys the CloudFormation template file into AWS on your behalf. And then CloudFormation is the service that provisions all of the infrastructure. And so if you use CloudFormation before, or if you haven't, you probably know about this concept of CloudFormation template files. And these template files are basically like JSON or YAML objects that contain the specification of what you're trying to create. And so what you do from the unit test perspective within CDK, and they provide a whole bunch of libraries that make this super, super easy. So if this seems complicated, don't worry about it. It's actually quite straightforward. What they allow you to do is just say, here's my unit test. This CDK file that got generated as part of my project should contain a Lambda function, for example, and you can say what name it has. And then you can say it should also have an attribute called whatever, and the value should be 5, for example. And so that's how you go about writing your unit tests. And this is very, very handy because in other infrastructure as code options, you don't have the flexibility to do this. So unit tests allow you to be very, very confident that the CDK code you're writing is actually doing what it's supposed to be doing before you ever even deploy it out into the AWS cloud. Now, another huge benefit is in terms of abstraction. So with abstraction, what I mean by this is that you have access to things called CDK constructs. And these constructs are kind of these wrappers for different pieces of infrastructure. So you have very, very low-level constructs, which are L1. You have mid-level constructs called L2. And then you have very high-level constructs called L3. Let's start with the top to explain what L3 is. With L3 constructs, you can effectively create entire applications with just 1 or 2 lines of code. So an application like you're seeing in front of you here in the bottom left, with a EC2 instance and an RDS database, and then a private subnet and a public subnet that's located within a VPC. So entire application patterns that you can create in a single line of code. These are typically pretty opinionated in the sense that they don't let you configure too much. However, the benefit is that you can hit the ground running. You can deploy an entire application very, very quickly. And then if you want to kind of customize it further, you can decide to move down to the other constructs. But there's a whole bunch of L3 constructs that are available to you in the construct hub that AWS provides. And these also follow AWS best practices as well. So you're going to be guaranteed to have the right setups, both in terms of security and not accidentally using any anti-patterns. Then there's the L2 constructs, which are more mid-level. These usually kind of have like 1 or 2 services that are tied together, also allow you to control a little bit more. And then finally, there's the L1 constructs, which are the lowest levels of abstraction, which effectively allow you access to almost every setting that you would have access to if you were writing CloudFormation. And so abstraction is a really huge benefit of using CDK, and also combined with reuse, this makes it really, really easy to get started quickly and also share these findings with your team. Now, another benefit is that CDK is officially supported from AWS. And so this means that there's a certain, standard that we expect from AWS. So you can rest assured that, there's going to be minimal bugs. And I say minimal because everyone makes mistakes. Bugs occasionally do get introduced, but you can kind of rest assured that most of it is going to work, or at least 99.9% of it is going to work straight out of the box. And you're going to get quick and timely updates from AWS on new feature launches. So that's good to know as well, versus companies like Terraform or Pulumi that are external and don't necessarily have the dedication to the CDK project that AWS does. Now, some of you may be asking yourself, but what about CloudFormation? I'm sure there's a whole bunch of CloudFormation users out there that have been using it for quite some time and are just thinking like, should I change? Should I stick with this thing? Should I move to CDK? And I think yes. Okay. And let me tell you why. So this is a CloudFormation file, like a standard CloudFormation file. And you can see, if you haven't seen CloudFormation before, it's kind of declarative in the sense that you tell it exactly what you want. And you have to know like all the different parameters that you want to set. by looking up the AWS documentation. But you can see it's very, very ugly, right? Like there's no autocomplete. You have to kind of go and find the different parameters for the different things that you want to create. It's very, very difficult to set up things like variables that you're going to reuse. And honestly, these CloudFormation files can get really, really big and really, really out of hand and confusing. And so in my opinion, CDK does everything that CloudFormation does, just in a better way, with the access to variables and conditionals and the reuse that you get out of it and the autocomplete and the abstraction levels that you get as well. Like honestly, in my opinion, there is almost little reason to use CloudFormation in its modern form over CDK. And AWS has said it themselves, like CDK is the priority. It's going to be where they're doubling down in. And so it's only going to get better over time, whereas CloudFormation is just kind of there. It's working. If you want to use it, fine, but it's not going to really get much better over time. So in my opinion, if you're using CloudFormation, definitely start looking into CDK, at least consider it at a minimum, because it's probably going to be where all the enhancements come from going forward. Okay, let's talk about the cons of using CDK, because like anything in life, nothing is perfect, and there are some things that you should be aware of when you're using CDK before you decide to use it. The first one is in terms of slow updates, and I should put a star beside this one because it requires some explanation. So let me explain to you what I mean by slow updates. And the first thing that you need to know is how AWS works under the hood in terms of the organizational composition. And so AWS has many different teams that are within it. You know, you have an S3 team, you have a DynamoDB team, you have an EC2 team, and within each team, there could be, many other teams as well. So for example, with EC2, you can have a data plane team, you can have a control plane team. It's really up to the org or the organization to decide how many teams make sense for that particular product feature. Like an EC2 service probably has like maybe half a dozen teams that enable that product and develop it and build it over time. And so when you're a team at AWS, say you're the EC2 team and you're developing some new feature to do some special thing, you are basically solely focused on developing that new feature, right? You're just trying to get that working and get that out the door. You're not necessarily thinking about, oh, should I add CloudFormation or CDK support for this new thing that I'm building, right? So that's not something that's a requirement for you as an internal team at AWS to do before you release that new feature out into the wild. So often what you see is that a new feature will come out for a particular service, but it doesn't yet have support for CloudFormation or CDK. And this can be really, really frustrating. Like there's often new things that come out, and new things come out because people want them, because they're useful. And if you're using CDK, you can kind of be left behind because, the feature isn't always available right away as part of CloudFormation and CDK. And so you're stuck, right? You're in this ecosystem where you can only use CDK to develop your infrastructure. And as an IAC user, you know that you should never touch stuff manually in the console. And so you are kind of sitting there twiddling your thumbs, waiting until AWS can release that feature in parity for CloudFormation CDK. Very, very annoying. This is in contrast to some of the other IAC providers like Terraform. Terraform uses AWS APIs directly. So as soon as something gets released, they're not waiting for the CloudFormation update to come out. They can directly invoke the APIs that use that new feature pretty much right away as soon as that thing comes out. And so this is one of the things that kind of sucks with using CDK. And you'll see like social media posts complaining about this all the time, especially around reInvent when new things come out, but they're not supported right away. Super annoying, but AWS does listen to feedback and they usually come out with the update fairly quickly, but just something that's frustrating that you may need to deal with and may encounter over time when you're using CDK. Now, another thing to keep in mind is that there is no multi-cloud support for CDK. It's strictly an AWS product. And so what I mean by multi-cloud, if some of you haven't heard of it, multi-cloud involves using like a combination of AWS, GCP, Azure, and some of the other smaller ones perhaps as well. And so when you're using CDK, it's just for AWS. You're not going to have access to the other providers. If you are a multi-cloud organization, it may be a better option to use like something like Terraform or Pulumi. And the final con that I have for you is that there's kind of a steep learning curve when you're learning CDK, which is a bit unfortunate. There's a couple key concepts that you need to learn about, and it does take a little bit of time for you to kind of grasp them and understand them. But the good news is that once you understand what's going on behind the scenes and you've kind of made a project once or set up a project once, it's very, very easy to just repeat that process and move forward very, very quickly the next time. And so because of that, I wanted to offer you some resources that are helpful for you to get started learning CDK quite quickly. And so in terms of how to get started with CDK, I have two great resources for you. The first one on the left-hand side is a free YouTube video. It's a 1-hour CDK crash course. I'm going to link it in the pop-up. Hopefully you'll see a pop-up here to click it. If it's not there, it'll be in the description and comment section as well. But this is a 1-hour session where I basically explain to you everything about CDK, all the basics, all the concepts that you need to know about in order to get started. And I also walk through the process of setting up a CDK project. I explain to you the file structures, what everything does, and show you how to set up like just a simple piece of infrastructure. So that's going to get you started and just show you the basics so that you can kind of develop something on your own, hopefully. Now, if you're looking for something a little bit more hands-on that's going to go through a little bit more detail, that's where my brand new course, Web Scraping on AWS, Building a Serverless Real-Time Inventory Notifier, would be a good fit for you. So this is a new course that I just developed. It uses CDK to develop all the infrastructure, and it's really a hands-on course where you're going to build a useful product that's actually does something helpful. So it's going to show you how to web scrape a retail website to detect when inventory comes back into stock, and then sends a Discord notification to your phone. Once that does, you can go ahead and sweep it up. So this goes one step further over the crash course. The crash course is more about just like getting started versus the course, which is more about actually building something useful and getting into the weeds of many different types of infrastructure, tying them all together, and then adding a whole bunch of logic on top of it so that you can have a useful product at the end of the day. And so that's an option for you as well. I'll leave a pop-up and also a link down below in the description and comments section so you can pick it up. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope it was useful and just gave you a brief overview of what CDK is and whether or not you should consider using it. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know down in the comments section below. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next one.